Okay, let's talk about Regina, my 56 Plymouth Belvedere. This is her, and as you can see, she's in pretty rough condition. Smashed windshield, lots of surface rust. I've taken the trim off. Also smashed passenger door. Currently have her dash out, and it's getting a rust cutter treatment before priming and repainting. Let's look at the engine, show you some of the stuff I've done. New radiator, 4-core aluminum. I've taken the old stock exhaust manifold off and put two Fenton style dual headers on it. I looked out and came across a decently priced Offenhauser dual intake. I'm currently struggling with throttle linkage for dual Rochester carbs. This is my final attempt, and if I don't successfully get that sorted out, I'm going to go back with one carb in the stock intake. Again, I'm not a mechanic. All this stuff was a lot easier to do than you would think if you've never done anything like that before. I'll either post another video that showed the first start, or maybe I'll splice it in somewhere. But just like all classic cars for sale, this was California car, ran when parked. You can even get bumper stickers that talk about that. But this one actually was, at least at some point, from California, because it was registered as a California car. And literally, I changed the spark plug wires, cleaned out the carb, and the sucker, I had to use a temporary fuel bottle, like a water bottle, running down to the carb to, give it fuel, but it actually cranked and ran. I haven't driven it, but I'll get into that later. New coil, new plug wires. They're not the right ones, they're just to get it going. Change the water distribution tube, and if you're dealing with an older Mopar, that is something you are gonna have to tackle. That's a video. It's gonna be short, but I'll post that as well. I lucked out with that. Inline radiator filter. I think that's a must-have if you're dealing with a car that sat for a long time, because you have no idea if it sat with just water in it, or even if it didn't. Like these old iron blocks, they gunk up real bad. Currently gonna do the whole brake system. Gonna try and do it myself. I've got a dual master cylinder, because if you have the single master cylinder, then any kind of hole in your brake system anywhere, and you lose all brakes. So that's fun. I've also completely rewired the whole car. It's very sloppy, but you should have seen what was in it. Oh man, it had the original cloth wire wiring in it, and I'll find a piece of that here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. This is the stuff that was in here, and the car still cranked and ran. I mean, exposed wire, you can literally just snap it off and it just breaks. So yeah, I had to rewire the whole thing. And my whole point about talking about all that right now is I'm not a mechanic. I did all this on my own. if you're remotely handy with a screwdriver and wrenches and sockets, you can do this. And this taught me this. I mean, before this, I could clean out a lawnmower carburetor. The simple ones where you don't really have to adjust. You just take the screws out, clean it all up, replace the gaskets, slap it back on, and that's about all I could do. And I've done all this myself. New water pump. And these parts, I mean, they're not cheap, but they're not super expensive. I mean, $100 here, $30 there. I'll show a before and after of what the engine bay looked like. Treated it with rust cutter, which I'm a huge fan of. Rust cutter is amazing. Vinegar is great, but rust cutter is, I mean, you just can't do something like this without it. Here's the dash, currently got it out. Again, probably would have paid thousands to rewire this car at a shop, and it doesn't look like it was done at a shop. And of course it's not finished, but I mean, I've rewired everything, the gauges, the lights, the dash lights, changed the bulbs from boring old plain white to green. I mean, I'm serious about this car. It's gonna need some floor pan work, but nothing huge. Just a couple of spots in the front. Let's see the back here. I rewired all the lights, got them all working. Oh, it's full of stuff, but I mean, there's surface rust everywhere, but it's in pretty good shape. So, did I overpay for this car? Yeah, probably so. I paid $2,800 for it. It did have a title, but I'll post a separate video about, I used to be a Chevy guy, and my dream car was always a 57 Chevy Bel Air. But the thing is with these 57 Chevy Bel Air, if you find one with no engine, no transmission, been sitting in the field for 20 years, rusted out, whole thing looks like this, probably bad parts on the frame, you're gonna spend thousands of dollars. Now the parts, they're cheaper. Like, for example, new gas tank. All right, that was $350. A new gas tank for a 50 Tri-5 Chevy, 55, 56, 57, $150. And this tank wasn't that bad. I mean, if you look at it, it's old, but it's not that bad. The problem is, on the inside, there is a pickup tube, and I got it cleaned out pretty good, but it just, the pickup tube was clogged, and the only way to, it's just not worth it. You can't do all this work and have the possibility that it's just going to clog again, because I don't know, it's just, so I had to, you got to make decisions like that. You got to know when to dish out money and when to save stuff. I was real proud of myself at this engine bay. The before and after is just crazy. But so yeah, this is Regina as she is right now, and the way she got her name was, she's a 56 Plymouth Belvedere. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with the movie Christine. Christine was a 58 Plymouth Fury, I believe, which, yeah, 58 Plymouth Fury. A Fury is just a Belvedere that's souped up. In fact, when they started, it was a trim model of the Belvedere. And I think 57 or 58 was the first year the Fury was its own model. If I'm correct, I might be off a little bit on that, but something like that, right? So I was texting my sister about this car when I got it, and I jokingly texted in Christine, but it auto-corrected for some reason to Regina. And I thought, hey, that's what she wants to be called. So that's her name, Regina. Yeah. Since I'm gonna have to take the windshield out and probably do some rust work in the channel, might as well do that since I have the dash out, because I was gonna have to repaint the dash. I haven't decided what color. I keep going back and forth. I took all the trim off. It's all there. Couple of pieces got kinked a little bit. You can take it off with a old-fashioned can opener, but can you do that without bending it all? Probably not. And I did bend a couple of pieces. Not bad, but noticeable. So part of me is divided. Part of me wants to keep this car as original as possible, keep it two-tone. I'm not a huge fan of blue, even though I have a blue truck. I don't want a blue car. I was gonna do red, white, white. Another part of me doesn't want it two-tone and wants to change it a little bit. And since I went ahead and slapped some dual headers on it and the dual carbs, I'm already hot rodding it out a little bit, as they say. So it's like, well, since I'm doing that, I might as well just go ahead and go a little more in the custom department. And I want it completely red body with a white top. That just looks killer in my opinion. But the other part of me says, you're already making her aggressive, so why don't you just paint it all black? So I haven't decided yet. I think I'm leaning towards the red because I'm gonna paint it myself too. I'm gonna do a DIY Rust-Oleum turbo can paint job on this car. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube and they look pretty darn nice. So how is that going to turn out? That I can't tell you. So yeah, that'll just kind of evolve. It's a 3 on the tree standard. It's on when I had it cranked. I mean, I've idled it for 20 minutes at a time multiple times, so she'll idle and she won't overheat. But that's as far as I've gone with test driving. It's on jack stands and all the gears work. The wheels turn in first, second, and third, and in reverse. But that doesn't mean that it works right. That doesn't mean the transmission's not completely shot. So there's that. I can't test it till I redo the brakes. And I'm not gonna lie, I'll be surprised if I can successfully redo the brakes. I've heard these old Mopar brakes are a nightmare. And I'm not even talking about getting the drums off with the special drum tool you need, which is $100. I'm talking about they're just supposedly real touchy. You're real sensitive to the adjustments. Gonna find that out. I was gonna take it to a shop and have them do the brakes and even the carbs, and the guy said he was backed up for 3 months. So I thought, there's my sign. If I was gonna have him do it, I might as well try and do it myself anyway. I mean, they need to be totally redone. He's not gonna say, well, it would have been cheaper, but you got in there and started tinkering. I mean, you don't want to mess around with brakes. I'm upgrading to a dual master cylinder. Might as well redo all the brake lines. And I'm doing this the cheap route. I mean, like I said, I don't have money. This is my shop. It's a dirty carport that's junky. I bought the nickel copper tubing, the real cheap stuff that you can supposedly easily bend by hand. I mean, there was a sale on it and it was like $30 for 100 feet of the stuff. I mean, you can't go wrong. Well, you can't go wrong with that, but trying it, all you'll do is learn. You might learn that you shouldn't do it and you can't do it, but I've done all this stuff so far. So, oh, I repainted the hood as well. The hood used to look like this. Now I'm gonna have to repaint it because I didn't realize that I thought the primer would seal it, and I didn't know that primer is porous. So you can't just prime and forget. And you gotta prime and then cover, even if it's a jump coat. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Regina. I think what I'll do is break down, they're gonna be short videos because I hadn't decided to make a channel yet about it. So there'll be like the first startup video. I got the video of me doing the dreaded, as they call it, sword in the stone water tube extraction, which that is a must. If you're working on an old Mopar that's got the water tube in the engine, I saw an old Mopar guy on a video who worked for a Chrysler dealership in the 50s. He'd been working on these cars since he was a teenager. He said that the original manuals said you needed to replace those every 2 years. So if that's true, most people don't ever replace them until someone like me comes along and buys a car and then tries to, and it's usually a disaster. One more thing I wanted to show you is I added a grill light because I think that looks cool. I'm not going to do any other lighting though, no underbody stuff, none of that. No, I don't think that belongs on 50's cars. The wiring, like I said, was shot, so I had to make a decision. The reverse light, it was hard to find the switch, and I didn't want to mess with it, and long story short, I love toggle switches. The reverse light is a toggle switch. It's lighted, so it lets me know when reverse is on. You might think that's stupid. You might think that's cool, I don't know. There's where the old floor switch went, and to find the replacement that does work is kind of expensive and kind of difficult. Found that out the hard way, bought the wrong one. Turn signals don't work, so we got the classic aftermarket turn signal. This was like $23. It was easy to wire in once you have a little bit of idea of what wires go where. What else? Bright switch, same thing. Like bright switch, like had to, that's what was on the floor. I think I said reverse switch, but it was the brights. So yeah, bright switch is a toggle switch. Reverse light, toggle switch. Horn also doesn't work. I mean, some people, you might think this is stupid. I think it's not. The battery's not hooked up, but here's my horn. I think it looks okay there. I don't think that looks out of place. I mean, it kind of fits the groove of it. So I do make some changes, and I will make some changes to this car, but I'm not going to completely like rat rod it out and make it something that completely out of its genre. Like everything I'm doing is stuff that they would have done to these cars 5-10 years after they were released. So another thing, like I said, I'm not a mechanic. I'm getting a whole lot of my information and ideas from AI. So yes, AI is helping me rebuild this car, and it's helped me a lot. It's led me astray a couple of times. And when AI is wrong and you call it out, it goes, oops. And that's it. So that can be frustrating. But other than that, the knowledge that it's allowing me to access is really, really incredible. I'll make another video talking about why I switched from being a Chevy guy, at least in the classic car department, a Chevy guy to an old Mopar guy. If I ever buy another classic car, it's probably also going to be a Mopar. I'm sold. And it has a lot to do with the community, to be honest. Anyway, so that's Regina. Little bit of a rundown, history, some stuff I've done, some stuff I plan to do. Hope you enjoy it. And again, when I start posting these videos that show me actually doing some of the stuff, hopefully you can take that knowledge and it'll help you out, or at least entertain you. Thanks for watching.